The 5th century, a time when the Roman Empire was in decline and new powers were emerging in Europe. This was an era of monumental shifts, when the iron grip of Rome was losing its hold, and the stage was set for new heroes and villains to make their mark on history. Picture a Europe teetering on the edge of transformation, a grand old empire crumbling, its once invincible legions faltering. As the Roman Empire's glory started to fade, another power was on the rise, emerging from the vast steppes of Central Asia. They were the Huns, a nomadic people, fierce and indomitable. Among these Huns, a young leader was coming of age. His name was Attila. From an early age, he was groomed for power, learning the art of war and diplomacy from his uncle, King Ruga. Attila's ascension to the throne marked the beginning of a new chapter in European history. Enter Attila, a man destined to become one of history's most infamous conquerors. Attila, the ambitious leader, took the reins of the Huns in 434 AD, marking the beginning of a reign that would shake Europe to its core. At the tender age of 21, Attila ascended to power, sharing the throne with his brother, Bleda. Together, they ruled the confederation of Hunnic tribes, a formidable force that was beginning to flex its muscles on the geopolitical stage. Their first order of business was to negotiate a peace treaty with the Eastern Roman Empire. The Treaty of Margus, agreed upon in 435 AD, was far more than a simple peace agreement. It was a masterstroke of political strategy that allowed the Huns to extract a hefty annual tribute from the Romans and a testament to Attila's shrewd diplomatic acumen. But Attila was more than just a savvy politician. He was also a ruthless and effective military leader, honing the Huns' nomadic horse-riding skills into a deadly weapon of war. He transformed his warriors into a swift and mobile force, capable of launching lightning-fast raids on unsuspecting enemies. His ferocity in battle earned him a fearsome reputation, with Roman chroniclers often describing him as a scourge of God. 8 years into their shared rule, Bleda's sudden death in 445 AD left Attila as the sole ruler of the Huns. Some say it was a hunting accident, while others whisper of fratricide. Regardless of the circumstances, Attila's grip on power was now absolute. With unchallenged authority, he began to expand his empire. He pushed westward, toward the rich and fertile lands of Gaul and Italy, his eyes set on the ultimate prize, the Western Roman Empire. His audacious plan was not merely to raid or to extort tribute, but to conquer and rule. Attila was setting the stage for a grand takeover, one that would mark him in the annals of history. The year 441 AD marked the beginning of Attila's aggressive expansion. Historically, Attila is known as the Scourge of God, a title earned through his relentless conquests. This period was characterized by a series of major battles and invasions, most notably against the Eastern Roman Empire. Attila's military strategies were a force to be reckoned with, his army, a fearsome sight. The first significant conquest under Attila's rule was the invasion of the Eastern Roman Empire. In 441 AD, Attila launched an attack on the Roman territories in the Balkans. This was a strategic move, as it not only weakened the Romans, but also provided Attila with a stronghold in Europe. The Romans, under the leadership of Emperor Theodosius II, were caught off guard. Despite their best efforts, they could not withstand the onslaught of the Huns. The Roman forces were defeated, and Attila claimed victory. This marked the beginning of a series of invasions that would leave the Eastern Roman Empire in a state of constant turmoil. But Attila did not stop there. His hunger for conquest led him further into the heart of the Roman Empire. He invaded and conquered numerous cities, spreading fear and chaos wherever his army went. The Romans were forced to pay a heavy tribute to keep Attila at bay, a tribute that further depleted the already struggling Roman economy. Attila's victories were not just military triumphs, they were also psychological victories. His reputation as a ruthless and fearless leader grew with each conquest, and his name became synonymous with terror. The Romans lived in constant fear of his next attack, their once mighty empire now at the mercy of the Huns. Despite the numerous victories, Attila's ambition was far from satisfied. He had dominated the Eastern Roman Empire and had left it in shambles. But this was just the beginning. Attila's eyes were set on the entirety of the Roman Empire. His conquests were far from over, and his thirst for power far from quenched. Attila's ambition was far from satisfied. His eyes were set on the entirety of the Roman Empire. By the mid-5th century, Attila had become a force to be reckoned with. The world had come to know him as the Scourge of God, a fitting title for a man who brought empires to their knees. His power was at its zenith, and the world quaked in anticipation of his next move. At the heart of his reign was his invasion of Gaul, a bold and daring move that showcased Attila's strategic prowess. Rather than a straightforward assault, he chose to ally himself with the disgruntled factions within the region. This not only weakened the internal structure of Gaul but also provided Attila with additional manpower. It was a masterstroke of war strategy, a perfect blend of diplomacy and force that left Gaul in the firm grip of the Huns. But Attila wasn't content with Gaul. His eyes were set on the eternal city Rome. He saw the city not just as a prize, but as a symbol of power and prestige. He came close to conquering Rome, a feat that would have immortalized him as one of history's greatest conquerors. His army laid siege to the city, and for a moment, it seemed like Rome would fall. But it was not to be. Despite his best efforts, Rome held out, standing as a testament to its indomitable spirit. The impact of Attila's conquest was far-reaching. He had not just expanded his empire, but also shifted the balance of power in Europe. The once great Western Roman Empire was now on the brink of collapse, and other regions were scrambling to protect themselves from the Hunnic onslaught. Attila's reign had brought him fame and fear, and his name was etched in the annals of history as a formidable conqueror. Yet, as we all know, power is a fleeting thing. Attila's reign had brought him fame and fear, but the tides of time were about to turn. For the scourge of God, the sunset was drawing near, and with it, the end of an era. But that's a story for another time. In 453 AD, Attila's reign came to an abrupt end. This mighty warrior, known as the Scourge of God, met a fate as sudden as it was unexpected. Attila the Hun, who had once thundered across the plains of Europe, conquering and pillaging as he went, died not in battle, but on his wedding night. The exact cause of his death remains a mystery, with theories ranging from a severe nosebleed to assassination. With Attila's sudden departure, the Hunnic Empire found itself on shaky ground. His sons, Elac, Dengizic and Ernak, scrambled to fill their father's boots, but the unity that Attila had maintained was fracturing. The once fearsome Huns were divided, their power waning. By 469 AD, just 16 years after Attila's death, the Hunnic Empire had dissolved, its glory a fading memory. But what of Attila's legacy? What mark did this fearsome leader leave on history? Despite the brutality of his reign, Attila reshaped the landscape of Europe. His invasions accelerated the fall of the Western Roman Empire, altering the course of history. The fear he instilled in his enemies led them to fortify their cities, ushering in a new era of defensive architecture. Moreover, Attila's life has served as a source of inspiration and cautionary tale for centuries. His story has been retold in countless forms, from operas to novels, highlighting his military prowess and ruthless leadership. Yet his fall serves as a stark reminder of the fleeting nature of power and the inevitable decline that follows unchecked ambition. Attila's influence extended beyond his lifetime, shaping the world in ways he could never have imagined. His reign, though short-lived, was a pivotal point in history, a period of turmoil and change that would forever shape the course of Europe. Attila's reign may have been brief, but his impact on history was profound. His story serves as a testament to the power of a single individual to shape the course of history, and the consequences that can follow when that power goes unchecked. Attila's story is one of ambition, conquest, and ultimately downfall. Yet, it is a story that continues to resonate, a story that reminds us of the indelible mark one person can leave on the world. Attila, known to many as the Scourge of God, was a figure of both fear and fascination. His conquests reshaped the map of Europe, and his reputation echoed through the corridors of time. A formidable warrior, a shrewd strategist, and an uncompromising leader, Attila's name became synonymous with unstoppable force. His impact on Europe was profound and enduring. He toppled kingdoms, altered political landscapes, and instigated cultural shifts that would ripple through the centuries. His reign, though brief, was marked by a voracious ambition that knew no bounds. Yet Attila's story is not just one of conquest and power, it's also a tale of the transient nature of empires, the ebb and flow of fortunes, and the inevitable decline that follows the zenith of power. His fall from grace underscores the impermanence of earthly glory. Attila's story serves as a stark reminder of the power of ambition and the fleeting nature of empires.